Hi and welcome to the channel. You know, the joy of photography is that a little knowledge goes a long way. You don't necessarily need the most expensive kit in the world to produce some really fine images. And today I hope together we're going to prove that as we photograph a studio set and just use a simple LED flashlight to light it. We've got an interesting one today. Now we've got to do a picture to illustrate the fact that my friend's cafe is now doing takeaway soup. He's locked down, can only do takeaway, he's been doing sandwiches, but he's just bought some soup containers so he can do takeaway soup. And he said, is there any chance you could do a picture for me? I'll pay you a bacon sandwich. Well, I couldn't say no. So we're going to do a picture to illustrate soup, takeaway soup. So I was thinking, you know, tomato, that's the classic soup, isn't it? Everybody loves tomato soup. So I'm going to do a picture of a bowl with some tomatoes. We don't want to spend a lot of time on it, and so we're going to do it just here. I'm going to use what I've got around me. We're going to light it with this simple little torch. LED, I mean this was 10 bucks. We're going to want a background for it. So we're going to put it down on here. This is a halogen hob, black glass. I'm going to use this as the base and I'm going to use it to give me a reflection. And so let's go, let's get the tomatoes. Here they are. Got some little cherry tomatoes and I'm going to just place them on there. So we've got our little bowl of tomatoes. Let's get a camera. I'm going to pop it on the tripod here. Right, okay. So let's have a look at what we're getting. Put the camera down nice and low. We're going to go on to manual focus on program. There we go. That's what we're getting. Can you see? We've got no lighting on it, but we have got that nice reflection in the glass. We need a background on this because we don't want to see all that lot there. I know. Peter McKenna, the great Peter McKenna, showed me this in a video. An old baking tray, look at that. Where all the cooking over the years, as I'll use that. Okay. All the cooking over the years has sort of built up a lovely patina on the back of that, look. So we're going to pop that in there. I just love this freedom taking pictures. I mean, it doesn't matter what we use to put that tray up. It's not seen. So there we are. Let's just put the exposure up so you can see what's going on. That's our picture. Can you see that? Zoom in. We've got that lovely patina look on the back. Nice clean lines, and we've got some reflection there. Isn't that beautiful? But it's not lit very well, is it? It doesn't make it look like we're actually going to enjoy that. So I'm a 20th at 5.6. Let's get our torch. Who'd have thought you'd be creating this kind of image with just a simple LED torch and some batteries? Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that beautiful, people? How long did that take? Goodness me. I think we'll put a little bit of reflection around here. I just love being able to create this kind of image, this kind of creativity with just simple tools. We'll go back to that side, do one on that side. It's as easy as this. It's just photography. It's just about light and control this. You can photograph things. Now, I'm going to put some on the background there, look. Whoop, need to hold that out of the way. And then of course the beauty of lighting like this is I'm taking pictures and I'm free to move my hand around. I can move the lights as I shoot. Now let's see what we've got. Click that off for a second. I can show you. That's the background shot. And then we've got the light on that side and the light on that side. Ooh, lovely. Zoom in. Tomato. You say tomato, I say tomato. Okay, let's go edit. So here we are. we've got a picture to edit, and this is one of the pictures where the light is coming straight down. I quite like that, and what I like about it is that we've got the highlights on the top, and then the colours are going deep down here, look. And I suspect when we take this down, when we take the exposure down a little bit, what we'll find happening is the thin tomato skin might start looking almost translucent on the edges. I think that'll look nice. So let's start editing. In Photoshop we go image, adjustment and levels. I'm going to take the greys down, but I'm not going to take the blacks down at this stage. That's kind of more like it. Look at that. That's nice. And as I said, we're starting to get that kind of translucent look to the top here. Let's just take the black step slightly. Right. Okay. So I think you wanted these for Instagram primarily. So I'm going to do them square, and obviously you can use them on these other social media as squares as well. So let's just get this lined up. No hard and fast rules here, just use your eyes, whatever feels good. And we want that reflection that we've been given by the top of the cooker. The black glass on the top of the cooker has given us this nice reflection. Bit of a cheat. I'm going to take my cloning stamp on 100% opacity. I'm going to pick that with the Option key, move it over and start painting these lines out. These are the hob lines here, you know, that tell you where to put the saucepans. Paint those out across there. And we'll be darkening this in a minute, so although you can see quite a lot of this, don't worry about it because we're going to darken all this area. Don't lose any sleep over it. It'll be okay. And that's the beauty of Photoshop. If you don't like it, hide it. I think the next thing we need to start thinking about doing is, I haven't used a wide enough f-stop here to blur all of this baking tray behind. And the reason I didn't do that, I think we shoot it on 5.6, I think, is because I wanted to keep quite a few of the tomatoes sharp. And had I used 2.8 or f4, then maybe this tomato would have been sharp and the others around would have been blurred, and I didn't want that. So I knew that we could cut this out. So we'll get our lasso tool and go quite roughly, Centurion, very, very roughly around there. Don't have to be too precise, just make sure we don't go over the tomatoes. There. So we're going to select, modify, feather. As you know, we like to feather everything. We've got 100 on the feather here. I'm going to go Command H just to hide those marching ants. They're still there, we're still selected, we just can't see them. And I'm going to go back to levels. Just going to see if we need to just take that down slightly. Isn't that nice? We're getting a lovely colour coming in there. I think perhaps I'll take some of the contrast out. And now we go filter, blur, Gaussian blur. Not too much, just a tiny little bit. We've got 3.8. I like round numbers, let's go 4. 4! Hurrah! Now, we're going to choose down here. So we're going to cut out with our lasso along the black. So we're going dark this time. This time we're going dark. So we're going to bring that around there. We're going to select, modify and feather. And we bring that all the way down. And I'm going to do the same again around that, but slightly wider. Because I want these little bits of dust to disappear. Select, modify, feather. And there we go. I'm going to do the same this side. I'm going to lose that line there. Bring it around. Modify, feather. And use our levels to feel the light. And bring that down. nice and slowly ease it down. And just do a second one there, around there. Select, modify, feather. And already we're looking at this and thinking, you know, we shot this on the top of a cooker. We shot it with a baking tray as the background, and the lighting, the expensive lighting, was a $10 LED camping flashlight, or torch, as we say in the UK. It's just crazy. I mean, you know, you can do good photography on a budget. You know, as Ansel Adams very famously said, the most important part of a camera is the 12 inches behind the viewfinder. It's in your head. If you have the knowledge of how to do things, it's possible, as we're proving here. So let's go to the dodge tool, and it's a big dodge tool. Let's make that size smaller. What do we want? About that big, yeah. So we're just going to put a bit more detail into this shadow down here, look, and pop a little bit more. Just dodge nice and gently. Do this gently. We're on 11%, look, up here, just gently. Here, look, we're just going to lift. Can you see? Nice and gently. When I press the mouse, it's working, and I can stroke it like a paintbrush. Look at that. Stroke it like a paintbrush. And now I can lift this bit background here, look. Can you see? Just gently, gently. Nothing too rough, nothing too hard. Just gently easing that light back into there. Come on, back into us. Just gently, gently does it. A little bit at a time. Softly. I don't like that there. Look. I'm going to have to lose that. I can't have that. Get the clone tool. You can see the crosshair telling me where I'm cloning from, can't you there, look? I'm just running down. I don't take it from over here because that might be a slightly different tone, just a slightly different hue. Now I want, on this side, I want that to blend in, so I think I want to lose that there. Select, modify, feather. And we're just going to blend that slightly. Yes, it's coming away to nothing. And then let's use the burning tool on our shadows. And just gently does it. Nice, soft movements, small movements. Just to hide the line a little bit, look. Okay, so now we've blown it up, we can see that we've got one or two little imperfections here. And these will just be bits of dust that were on there. Whoops! Don't do that, Philip. Let's just clean these up. Sometimes it's easier to clean the image. Look what I've done there. That was hopeless. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, I think we are pretty much getting there. Now, I'm going to choose my lasso tool. I'm going around these tomatoes here. Look, round and round and round she goes. Where she stops, no one knows. Select, modify, feather. Do you know what? My daughter said to me, you should have some t-shirts made up. All YouTube people have t-shirts made up. And I was thinking, what would I have on it? And actually, during these tutorials, the way I like to work and the way I like to use brushes, I think select, modify, feather ought to be my saying. Because I seem to say that for everything we do. Here we bring them down again. There, look at that. Oh, don't they look nice? Don't you want to eat those? I certainly do. Making me feel hungry. Okay, so still a little bit too much detail for me back here. So just to finish off, I'm going to leave this dark for a reason, and it's for the designer. I think we said this when we were doing some other work. Often you need to think about, it's a lovely picture, but actually it's got to do a job, and the job of this picture is to sell soup and to tell people that soup is now available. Now, we could have done a bowl of soup, but it wouldn't have been so interesting, and as you were driving past in the car, if the poster was in the window or outside, you might not notice it. So that kind of little cherry tomatoes all waiting to be turned into a lovely sort of healthy bowl of soup, that is a much nicer picture to me and much more appealing. I kind of think, oh look, that's going to be fresh soup. Where was I? I digress. I've lost my thread. Ah yes, lasso. So we're going to lasso around here. Talking is one of my strong points. Unfortunately, stopping talking isn't. Select, modify feather. Don't forget the feathers. And we're just going to take that back. Let me hide those marching ants. That's another one. Hide those marching ants. Blur filter. Blur Gaussian blur. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's more like it. And that's our picture. The reason that that gap has been left. Pre-transform on that text tool. I just got to point out, at this point, I am not a graphic designer. It's not my strong point. I'm literally just putting this text on in Photoshop to give you some idea of what a designer will look to do. And that is our picture. I like it. Well, that was great. I really like that picture. But what if we want to do an alternative? What if we want to go much closer in towards the tomatoes, make them look sort of ripe and juicy? Well, we can do that, but let's change lens. Let's put a zoom lens on. I'm going to put the 200mm on. 70 to 200, 2.8 is what I'm going to put on, because I want to get a little bit closer in towards those tomatoes, and that means I'm going to have to get back a little bit. We should have a nice close-up shot of the tomatoes. There they are. Lovely. But we want them to look more luscious than that, don't we? So, little trick we're going to use, the water sprayer. I can't do it here, obviously. Bring it over here. Nice fine mist on those tomatoes. Here we go. Let's place that back in there. Let's get the focus sorted out once more. Let's pop some light on. Get my $10 light there and start taking a few pictures with it. Should we have a look what that looks like? Just check out the camera here. Have a little look. Ooh, yeah, now we're getting somewhere. I like it. Isn't that nice? Just take that exposure down slightly. Just from the side, gives us a nice shadow on the underside. We should have some good images there. Let's go take a look at those. Okay, so this is the second picture, and this is the close-up of the tomatoes, and we sprayed it with the water, look, and they look luscious. Let's see what we can do with this. First thing is to square it up. That's kind of nice, isn't it? Right there. Quite like the edge. I mean, we could go there and have no edges at all. But I do kind of quite like that edge because it's a handmade bowl. Yeah, I think that looks nice. That's not quite square though. Let's just square that up. Okay, that's nice. So let's go filter. It's not sharpen on that. Let's have a look. And levels. So it's image adjustment levels. Okay, let's have a look. Let's bring those down. There we go. The water just dripping off that one. That looks good, doesn't it? Okay, so we've got a little mark just down here. So we'll go to the clone tool and choose a reasonably sized option. We're going to clone from there, hit and move it over. Don't worry too much about that because we are going to mess around with that in a second. There you go, got the nice line. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is cut that out along there, only keeping on the inside. Select, modify feather, and just ease that up. Bring the blacks in slightly. There, so we've got some nice colour going on in here now. So let's cut across that black line there and down that black there. And the reason I'm choosing the black lines is they're not going to show up because I'm going to take things darker. It means that they're not going to show up. If you're making things lighter, then choose very light lines or white areas. And if you're making things darker, choose the black lines and the shadow areas. And you'll be able to hide those lines where you've done the cutout. Even though you're going to feather it, it'll be much easier to disguise. Oh, look at that, now we've taken that level down. That's nice. Now we're getting somewhere, look at that. Isn't that luscious? Just on that background, I'm going to take quite a wide-ish line around the outside, not too close, away from the tomatoes. Select, modify, feather, and filter, blur, Gaussian blur. So we get more blur on that background now. Do you know what? I don't think we need to do too much more on this. I'm going to go to the dodge tool. Let's just bring us slightly more out of the, make them slightly rounder. Do you know what I mean by that? You know, by adding that slight bit of highlight look there, kind of gives them that slightly more round appearance. And likewise with the burn tool, just around. Oh no, that looks bruised. We don't want that. Now I'm just going to zoom that up. Whoops, where's it gone? And there's a bit of soil or something on that. These came from the farmer's shop, so they are very fresh. And I'm just going to clone that. There. There. That's nice. Does it need a recrop, do you think? Bring it in slightly more. The beauty of Photoshop and working this way is that you can just keep going, making it better and better. Working on highlights, on midtones, on shadows, on crops. It's fantastic. And then I'll save that. Oh, look at those. They look so good, don't they? Really is making me hungry. Save the image. Save as tomatoes close. And then what would the designer do? Probably something like, okay, it'll be something along those lines. Hey, I really enjoyed doing that video. It was great fun. And I hope you did too. And I hope you got some great pictures. If you did, post some comments down below and let us know how you got on. And if you've enjoyed watching or shooting along yourself to this video, please consider subscribing.